Joining us now to discuss this double standard and, more importantly, this two-tier justice system that we're actually watching unfold right before our very eyes as a country today, folks. He's the Director of Investigations and Research at Judicial Watch. Let's welcome back to the program, Chris Farrell. Chris, long time. Hope you've been well. I wish we were talking about a totally different subject, but I think we knew this was coming for months and months, if not a couple years. It's anything to get Trump. Don't worry the fact that, I don't know, we have a corrupt sitting president that did pay-for-play scheme while he was a VP. Yeah, forget all that. Forget that he also had documents next to his Corvette in an unlocked garage. Forget that Bill had audio tapes and documents in his sock drawer. Forget that Obama had documents. Forget that Pence had. You all get my point. But it's get Trump, right, Chris?
You're exactly correct. And Judge Amy Berman Jackson, who's an Obama appointee in the U.S. District Court in the District of Columbia, ruled in our case. I'm not happy to say this, but we lost this case 12 years ago. She ruled, as you mentioned, that the president has an absolute, unreviewable right to take whatever he wants when he leaves office. He designates what his personal property is and what goes off to the archives. And it's governed by the Presidential Records Act. And not only does the president have an absolute, unreviewable authority to do so, on top of that, the National Archives and the Department of Justice are specifically prohibited from getting involved and deciding what's personal and what's a presidential record. So it's not just that the president has the right to do it, there's also a pushback, a negative prohibition on the archives getting involved, trying to second guess or make some sort of determination as to what the president should or shouldn't have. So this is an incredibly important case. We have the legal decision on this case, and it has stood unchallenged for 12 years until just now when we see the usual disparity of treatment. Bill Clinton gets a pass. He gets to walk and do whatever he damn well pleases. Donald Trump gets a phonied up, way out of the ballpark Espionage Act claim brought against him. And this is, again, it shows the American public over and over and over again the double standard when it comes to President Trump.
This judge that you guys lost the case to, which is today looking back, a great thing, like you said, because it provides a precedence for President Trump's case. This was an Obama appointee at what level? Yeah, what level? This was a federal judge, right?
Correct. The U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. She's a federal D.C. Circuit Court judge.
And I always thought, again, not a lawyer, you know more than I do, investigating.
I'm not a lawyer either, thank goodness. But,
goodness.
I've been at Judicial Watch for 24 years. So
I was going to say, you know enough about the law, researching it, backgrounding people, investigating things, that's a major then case precedence that is set. So I don't know how, if you're not Trump's lawyers, you just don't go in and go, Clinton versus 2012 or 11, whenever it was, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we want this case thrown out. This is BS. I mean,
well, they have cited it. His lawyers have cited the case, have made reference to it, put it in their pleadings, and rest assured, when this case moves forward on the criminal front, this is going to be raised and stuck in the face of the Justice Department. Jack Smith doesn't want to discuss it. In fact, if you read the phonied up indictment that they've drawn up against the president, you will not see a single reference made in any way, shape, or form to the Presidential Records Act. And do you know why? Because if they even acknowledge it, it opens the door to this entire Clinton sock drawer case argument, and they're terrified of it. They don't want to go anywhere near it.
Wow. Well, folks, that doesn't tell you this is. I don't know what does. I mean, when you have another instance where it's a president with documents, or in this case, recordings, whatever it may be, and he's hiding them out, and they find out, and then all of a sudden a judge says, nope, a president can do what he wants. I don't know how anyone in their right mind, sane mind, except for the folks with Trump derangement syndrome and 98% of the mainstream media, of course, and Democrats, see how Trump did anything wrong and how they go after him. This is 100% political. You just brought up Jack Smith. I wanted to ask you something, Chris, because I saw that your partner over there and the boss man, Tom Fenton at Judicial Watch, did you guys just sue the DOJ to try and get more information on Jack Smith's actual team and indictment and all this stuff going against Trump, right? Tell us about that.
Right. You'll remember that when the Mueller witch hunt was running,
Yep.
you had crazy people like Super Agent Peter Strzok, that loser from the FBI.
Yes.
He magically reappeared working for Robert Mueller once that special counsel office was stood up.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly he appears on the scene, and there's a handful of other political operatives, real slimy, hitmen, who suddenly showed up working for Mueller, and so we wanted to know, well, who's on the staff of this guy Jack Smith? We just read the Durham report, which in 306 pages details all the out-of-control, reckless behavior by DOJ and FBI. So we have every reason to believe that the same kind of political animals are going to show up on Jack Smith's team. And my colleague Tom Fitton, had a grand jury appearance thanks to Jack Smith, where they, were asking questions about what Tom had for lunch in the White House, penetrating legal arguments like, what did you have for lunch? So who are these people? We want to know who the staff is, so we want to know how much money they're spending.
Sure.
They're not some secret cabal that gets to run around and do their own mysterious investigations. We want to know who's doing it and how much money they're spending. Yeah. It's your taxpayer money. So
seems fair to me to know who the hell's going after a former president who, oh, by the way, is the leading candidate for the Republican ticket. I mean,
right, for like the 8th time, right? How many times they're going to go after him over and over, and they lose. They strike out every time.
Well, Chris, legally speaking, I think there's only those 3 factors about, being born here, living here for the 14 years leading up, and the age requirement. What is it, 37 or 35? I forget. There's only 3 requirements to run for president. So they can indict him 27 times. And even if he's found guilty and then he appeals it, you can still run, you can still win, and you can still serve while your legal team's fighting all these BS claims. Am I correct?
You are 100% correct.
Okay. Thought so. Good. I know where my vote's going. And it's not changing. No matter how many damn times they keep slinging mud at this guy, all it does, I'm sorry, is refortify my belief in how deep and corrupt the deep state is and the lengths they will go to stop not Trump. And he says this all the time because people think we're the ones with derangement syndrome because we like him so much. No. We know this guy's not a perfect man, but he's the perfect man for the job who led the country the right way in the right direction for those 4 years. Were there bumps along the road? Were there mistakes? Did he hire some bad people? Of course, it's politics. But I'm sorry, in the hell that we're facing right now, Chris, under the Biden regime, who do you want in another year and a half taking over to try and right this ship? I don't want some career politician who's going to owe favors. I want a guy who's going to come in and clean some damn house.
You are 100% correct, my friend.
This is the guy for it. Chris, as always, man, you and Tom and the whole Judicial Watch team, thank you so much for what you guys do. Filing, suing, Freedom of Information Act requests, investigating, just everything. You guys are great. We really appreciate you. Take care.
Thank you very much.